Urban Therapy with Sun752, and this is Daily Go Getterism number 331 for October 3rd, 2016. Tonight I want to talk to y'all about your confidence constitution. Your confidence constitution. You know, you can do almost anything in the world as long as you're confident in doing it. Even things that you don't do all of that well, you can make them look better if you do it confidently. There's something about a person that has confidence that makes other people have confidence in them. And it's sort of like a magical thing that makes people think that they can win things that they're probably not all that qualified to win. But it works on the flip side too. If you lack confidence in whatever you're doing, no matter how good you are, no matter how skilled you are, no matter how much natural ability you have, you're not going to really be able to persevere in doing what you want to do. You're not going to be able to compete very well because if you lack confidence, more than likely you're fearful, you're like really scared, or you're nervous, you're not on your game, your concentration is off. You just find it really hard to perform up to your optimal ability. So you want to work on your confidence. Now the thing is, how do you become confident? I mean, there are a variety of ways that you could become confident, but it's not. Confidence is not a magic trick. One of the best ways to build your confidence constitution is to practice at what you want. As a matter of fact, let's not even start at practice. Let's start at deciding what you want to do and how far or close you are to being able to do it. So if you have lofty goals that really don't align well with your natural abilities or your aptitude, or there are a whole lot of things that can keep you from being something that you want to be or doing something that you want to do. So I think it's a really good idea to go along with the things that you know how to do well naturally. And when I say naturally, I don't mean like okay, Prince was a natural musician and so was Stevie Wonder. It was like they could just pick up the instrument and it was like they were born to do what they did. Now, not everybody is born with those gifts. However, more than likely you were born with a set of arms and legs, a head, neck, and back and torso. So, more than likely you will find that instrument that goes well for you. And I'm not talking about a musical instrument. I mean anything that you are able to do well with your hands, with your feet, with your mind, with your head. And so for one person it may be sewing, for another person it may be typing, for another person it may be something in the health related, in the medical field or something like that. For some people are very, very scholarly, so they were born to be teachers. That's what their natural ability is. Some people are great at leading, but all of these things are things that you may be good at naturally, but it doesn't mean that you don't need to hone your skills. So that's where the practice piece comes into it. Once you find something that you're really good at, and hopefully you like what you're good at, because it doesn't always work that way. They say that you always want what you can't have. And I'm not really sure about things that you can't have. Because if you have a vivid imagination, you'll probably find that there aren't too many things out of the scope of your imagination that you can't attain. If you try, if you really put forth the effort and keep your expectations realistic. So when you find something that you're good at, one of the best ways to build your confidence constitution is to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice until it becomes so repetitive that something that you may not have even done naturally becomes natural to you. So a lot of people think that just because a person is tall, especially if they're a man, that they should play basketball. And that seems to work out pretty well. But as you know, all tall basketball players or all tall men aren't good basketball players. Even certain tall basketball players aren't all that good. but they can get good by working on certain aspects of their game, whether it's dribbling, whether it's dunking, whether it's free throws, perfecting your shot. What happens when you do something repetitively is the muscles, the brain sends a message to your muscles, and it knows exactly how to measure from one distance to another. So that's how they make the shots. That's why when you haven't played ball in a while, even though you were really good at it when you used to play, that's why it's hard to play it. And that's why you have to get back into the rhythm, because you have to retrain those muscles to be able to measure those shots. And eye coordination, there is so much that goes along with it. And you get that by practice. Now, either some people really didn't practice it, or they just couldn't get it. Like, you take Shaq. Shaq couldn't shoot free throws to save his life. Now, you're not going to tell me that none of his coaches made him shoot, 100 free throws per day, trying to get that together. And it was a definite point of weakness when he was in the NBA, because they would just foul him. When the game got tight, they would foul him. Now, luckily, he was so good that you still had to keep him in mind. You weren't going to foul your way to a win. You can only foul a person 5 times. But they knew he couldn't shoot free throws. So that was a point of contention for him. Had he worked on it, because he did get a little better. He was atrocious in the beginning, and evidently, him and his coaches worked together, and he got a little better to the point where maybe his percentage was like, 20% coming up from 10. But hey, progress is progress. And there were other parts of his game that really were good that he practiced at, like dunking, a whole inside game, defending. He was a good defender, used his big body. So he had to practice those things. And listen, I don't want to harp on Shaq because he's down with the cops and all of that. But that's another story. You know what I'm saying? It's just a good example of how if you're not that good at something, you practice at it and you can get better. Even a teensy teeny weeny bit of progress is progress nonetheless. And you'll get that by practicing. You'll never get it by just thinking about it or sitting on your ass. So you got to put in the work. And when you've done something, when you're good at something, that builds confidence. There are other ways that you can build your confidence constitution. Things such as being good to people. Being good to people normally brings a reciprocation, which means that people treat you good the way you have treated them. And when they do that, then now they're supporting you. And having good support systems is one of the things that really, really builds confidence in people. And it's one of the reasons that teams do well when they play at home. The home crowd is really cheering them on. It gives you a boost of adrenaline. It doesn't necessarily perfect anything that you do, but if it's a whole lot better than feeling like you're the enemy all the time and that you're alone and that you don't have any backup, any support systems, nobody there to console you if you fail, and nobody even hoping that you'll win. That's a lonely position to be in, and loneliness takes away people's confidence. And of course, loneliness is more than just being alone. There's a big difference between being alone and being lonely. You can be lonely in a room full of people, but if you don't feel like anybody relates to you and anybody cares about you and nobody understands you, then you're going to start to have these feelings of loneliness, and it can diminish your confidence. So you take an area like boxing. Now, to be a boxer, to be a professional boxer, especially one that contends for the belt, they have to practice all the time. So they're working on their footwork constantly. They're training hard. They're running. They're working on their punches, hooks, jabs, uppercuts, ducks, everything. They're working on it, and to be that good to compete, you have been trained like crazy. So what separates one boxer from another? Well, natural ability separates one boxer from another, and the other thing that ultimately separates one boxer from another is the confidence that they have that they can win. So, let's say you've trained hard for this match. You know you're challenging for the title, or you're defending your title. But you've been so good for so long, you've never really gotten hit, and even the times that you've gotten hit a little bit, you've never gotten hurt. And you get in the ring with this dude, and he rings your bell, damn near knocks your head off. How do you handle that? You know, if you haven't been trained to have the confidence to be able to take the hit and still make the adjustments while you're in the ring in real time, then it's going to take away all your confidence. And if you make it through that round, it's going to be very hard for you to come back, because you just had the confidence knocked all up out of your ass. And now you're afraid. You're afraid you're going to lose. You're afraid that you're going to get hurt. And you may be afraid that you're going to get knocked out and embarrassed. So boxers who do go through all of that and do get knocked out and are able to come back from that, they have to have had a whole lot of confidence. And they got that confidence by retraining, having strong support systems, and practicing, watching tape of their previous opponents and their upcoming opponents if they're different, and it helps them to be able to win. Muhammad Ali was the king. One of the reasons he was the greatest is because he was the king of taking away people's confidence. Everything he did leading up to those matches took the confidence away from those opponents. And most of those opponents were better boxers than he was. But they couldn't be better that day, because Muhammad Ali was extremely skilled, extremely strong, extremely gifted. But he talked a lot of shit, and he got a lot of people behind him, you know, to talk shit about the opponent, and he just demoralized them. Took away all their confidence. You saw what he did to George Foreman. Took him right out of the game. George Foreman was an animal. An animal. He was damn near killing people in the ring. But he could barely touch Muhammad Ali. He was beating on him, and Muhammad Ali just kept talking to him like, oh my God, you hit like a bitch. And along with all the other stuff that he went through, it was just a wrap. So think about those things when you're talking about building your confidence. You know, no matter how good you are at something, if you don't have the confidence to win, it's just like a mouse defeating an elephant. You know, if somebody can demoralize you and make you think that competing is futile because there's no way you're going to win, it's going to take away your confidence. So the thing that you want to do is make sure that nobody can do that for you. So you have to keep your mind right at all times, and also keep your body right. If you put the two together, which they are, which they should be in alignment at all times, then things should turn out for you. So that's all I have to say about that. Look, good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, when you're talking about your confidence constitution, one of the things that I didn't mention during this video, but I'll take the opportunity to mention them now. Write things down that you want. Write down what your dreams and aspirations are. Write down what you think the steps are for you to get it. Even if you don't know all of the steps, write down the first 3 that you can think of. Even if they're off base, at least you have made a start. And putting things down on paper that you can reference later on when you learn how to do things, guess what it does? It builds confidence. And if you can build the confidence along with your natural abilities, then you can achieve a lot of things in your life. And that's how that goes. Make sure y'all listen to the Daily Go Getimism Show every single day, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. New phone number, y'all. New phone number, 319-527-6199. Once again, the number to call is area code 319-527-6199. You can call that number, listen to the entire show, and press number 1 if you want to speak, comment, speak your mind, get something off your chest. It's the best way to spend your money. Your morning, kicking it off. So holla at the Daily Go Getimism Show every single day. blogtalkradio.com/Sun752. and I holler back at y'all. Peace.